The next thing I want to talk about is dApps, personas, and transactions. Basically, to show you what can the wallet do once it's set up, like what's the general interaction of using dApps on the Radix network and logging in and doing all that kind of normal stuff that makes up Web3 and DeFi every day. We can do that with an application that we've created. So if you're on the download page, at the bottom here, it'll give you some applications that the Radix team has built, the RDX Works team has built. And the first one of those is the Gumball Club. And I'm going to switch over to that now. The Gumball Club is a very simple little example dApp that just shows you what basically it feels like to do this stuff on Radix. It's a little bit different. You've got a mobile wallet, we've got personas, we've got all these different sorts of things. You've got multiple accounts. And the Gumball Club allows you to experience those differences and see how easy and intuitive it is to do stuff on the Radix network. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is actually cheat just a little bit. So obviously to do any transactions on the Radix network, you're going to need a little bit of XRD token. Normally this would be, go to an exchange someplace else, buy some XRD. But I'm going to cheat and use my special mode here. I'm going to go into this account and use a feature that you won't see in your wallet, which is get some test tokens. So this is running on a Radix testnet right now because we're not actually on mainnet yet. So I can just use a faucet to get some free XRD. And there we go. So now I've got 10,000 XRD in my account that I have to play with. Okay, so now we can do some stuff with Gumball Club. So over here on the dApp webpage, the first thing I'm going to want to do is to connect. You're going to see this Radix Connect button in the corner. This is part of the Radix dApp toolkit that we provide for developers. This is something that you're likely to see show up on many web pages on Radix that basically provides this nice recognizable place to go, I know that this is a Radix dApp, I know how I can connect my wallet here, and it provides some nice features. So basically the user knows what they're sharing with an individual web page that they're on. So if I click Radix Connect here, it's going to say, connect now. I want to connect to this website. Okay, so I click connect, I say login request pending. Now this is different than you'd see with like MetaMask and every other crypto network. Normally when you connect your wallet, it's like, okay, here's your account address and that's who you are. You are just your account address and your website, and the website now can do stuff with that account address. What we know is like what we designed the Radix wallet around is the idea of a login is still really important. We're not going to really move from Web 2 to Web 3 without some sort of real login that identifies who you are, that's separate from the accounts and the tokens that you own. So this is why we have the notion of personas. Personas are something that you can use to log in to dApps on Radix. And so when you click connect, it's asking for a login using a persona. Now, I haven't created any personas in my wallet yet, so it's prompting me on the wallet side here to create my first one. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll click Create a New Persona. And I'll just name this RadMat. Cool, I just created it. Now you saw there was a quick little like key derivation process that went on that looks a lot like creating an account. The reason is that personas actually have an on-ledger component to it. We have something called an identity that is on the Radix network, and basically that provides the security model for personas. It means that when you're logging in with a persona, you can actually sign that login with your phone, and the website knows that you are actually the person who controls that particular identity that's associated with that persona. It provides a nice secure login without having to have any kind of password. This is really nice because we really want to get rid of passwords, but we also don't want to fall back to something like passkeys where you're basically just storing a private key on Apple or Google servers. So in this case, you don't need that. So I've created my first persona. I'm going to select it to log in with, and I'm going to continue. At the same time as that login, Gumball Club wants something else from me. Of course, it wants me to log in and choose what persona I want to use, but it also needs a little bit more. It says I need to have one or more accounts to use Gumball Club. It's basically saying, look, I'm a dApp. I need to interact with assets. I don't just need a login, so you need to tell me about what accounts you want to use. It's kind of like, I always like for Web3, I always like thinking whenever you're going to a dApp website, it's kind of like its own little world. You get to choose who you're going to be in that world and what you're going to bring with you. So the persona is who you are. And now in this case, it's saying, well, what do you want to bring with you? I need something. So I'm going to get an opportunity to choose at least one account that I'm going to share with Gumball Club. And so now it's giving me an option to select. I have these 3 different accounts that I've selected. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and pick all 3 of them. I'd say, yep, maybe I want to use any of those accounts with Gumball Club. So I select all 3 and I'll click continue. And that request response is now provided back to the dApp web page. So you can see a couple things have happened here over the dApp web page. And again, remember, this is like all of this back and forth is happening over this secure Radix Connect P2P link that I've got between my phone and my desktop. They don't have to be tethered together via USB or anything like that. It's just automatically doing this P2P. It's very, very nice and seamless. So over on the web page side of my desktop, I can see that now I've got information about the login. So I've logged in as RadMat. I'm sharing these 3 accounts. I can log out right here if I want to. And I also get a little bit of a history of what requests I've done with this particular dApp. And now the Radix Connect button is now showing me that I'm now logged in as RadMat here. So you'll see this on basically every Radix dApp that you interact with, and it gives you this really nice sense of who you're logged in as, what you're sharing with this website, and gives you some options.